Spencer Trappist Ale.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Happy 4th of July, people. And to everyone in America, you've got us to thank for your 4th of July celebrations. We won't hold it against you that you decided to go your own way, but just remember, if it wasn't for the British, you lot would be back at work. Anyway, enough about that. I've got a bottle of this stuff. This is the Spencer Trappist Ale. I've heard a hell of a lot about this stuff, and I've heard a lot of good stuff about it, and been doing a bit of research on the actual, well, is it a monastery? I suppose it is, but you wouldn't think so if you looked at it. It looks like a brewery, but you know, I've been looking at what they do, and they've obviously researched their stuff quite well. They've gone over to Belgium, toured all of the, you know, traditional Trappist breweries, and they've done like a really good job apparently of gleaning all the brewing techniques and stuff from the monastery or the monasteries around Belgium, and yeah, they appear to know what they're doing. What surprised me was they do a whole range of beers. Now, if you go to most monasteries I mean the real Trappist monasteries, not the ones who pretend to be monasteries, but the real Trappist ones, they usually brew 1 or 2 beers, possibly even 3. Like they do a double, a triple, maybe a brown or something like that. One day, there will be a fucking reckoning with that fucking scooter. Yeah, they do a whole range of beers, as opposed to the, you know, the Belgian brewers, which I don't know. It sort of takes away the traditional ethics of a Trappist brewery. I think so, anyway. But that's by the by. Where we are now, we have got some of this stuff. This is a double, and as I said, they do everything. They do Pilsners, they do IPAs, which apparently are only available for the European market. I don't know why, but it is. They do Pilsners, IPAs, Saisons, Stouts, obviously this stuff as well. So, you know, you wouldn't get most, well, I don't think there is Trappist breweries that do that, or Trappist, you know, brewers that do that. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get on to the beer. Right, this is like a Belgian golden ale, and it's based on the table beers that were used by the monks while they were eating their dinner. They would drink this with their dinner, and it's 6.5%. Spencer lot call this sessionable. Oh, I think you're pushing it there, mate. That is not sessionable. They've got some interesting ingredients in here, which I'm going to go into now. They obviously do the yeast. They've got their own strain of yeast. It's naturally carbonated from the yeast, but the hops are interesting. Now, they're using hops that are grown in Washington State. They're based in Massachusetts, which is on the East Coast, Boston, around that area. Not too far from Boston, actually. But the hops are grown in Washington, and they obviously transport them over. And they're using 2 American-grown hops, which are quite similar to European hops. So the first hops that they use are nugget hops. That they say that they're one of their favourite hops. Nugget are quite herbal hops, and you find them in a few American beers. They're not massively popular like some of the real citrusy hops, but you do find them there. And then of course the other one that I use is Willamette, which is a reasonably popular hop in America. Because of its unique British and European characteristics. So what I mean by that is as a substitute for Willamette, you can use Fuggles, Styrian Goldings, or Tettnanger, which is a German hop, and they contain the sort of whole variety of flavours that you get from hops. So, for example, you get earthiness, you get floral flavours and aromas, you get fruit, and then you get spice as well. So that's like a catch-all hop, if you like. Of course, Tettnanger, is one of the noble hops from Germany. So, read into that what you will. Anyway, let's stop gassing and let's get this beer opened. Little job for the cap lifter. And there it is, off with the cap. And there's what it looks like, fleur-de-lis with the word Spencer around it. I can smell fruity esters coming from here already. Like malty, caramel malt. Let's have a look and see what's on the nose. Oh, lovely. That smells really good. It smells distinctly German. I'm going to fucking landmine that road. Yeah, lots of caramel malt, banana esters, and some spice like clove that's coming from that. It smells intriguing. Let's get it into the glass. Now I'm using a chalice. That's the recommended glassware for drinking this. Everything's in there now. Nice golden colour. Cloudy, hazy, whatever you want to call it. A lot of carbonation on that, but the head is dissipating at a rate of knots. Oh, it smells lovely. It smells absolutely gorgeous. There's some more fruit on here now, like banana, it's apple, pear, just lovely sweet fruit. I have to say that does smell absolutely amazing. Let's get it down the hatch. Cheers. Really nice. Oh, that is really nice. Okay. So what you're getting in there, all the aromas I've just described, you're more or less getting in there. You're getting a touch of banana, clove, apple, like sweet apple, pear. There is a touch of caramel malt on that. Not as big as I thought it was going to be. Carbonation is a little touch abrasive, but not too obtrusive. The finish on it is quite dry, I find. Sometimes with these Belgian ales, you get some added sweetness from sugar and stuff like that. I'm not detecting that, and that's nice because it gives it a lovely finish on it. Whereas before you'd get on some of these Belgian ales, you get like that sticky, sugary type feel. You don't get that at all. This is nice and clean on the arse end. God, it's super drinkable. That is really, really good. I'm impressed with that. If there was any particular gripe at all, I'd say the carbonation is a little touch coarse, but I'm imagining that's going to calm down. So I'm not too fussed about that. And there is a slightly weaker body that I'm getting, which you don't normally get on the Belgian stuff. But I have to say, these are minor gripes because everything else about this is brilliant. I think if there was like a little bit of wheat in there, it may have sort of given it a little bit more body, but you know, that's just minor gripe. I can see why this would go with food. If you had quite a rich meal, you know, you could be sipping this, and it would go down quite well.
Go away, I tell you.
That's really good. Really like that. So what's the verdict? Well, if somebody had told me a few years ago that you would be able to get American, genuine Trappist beer, I would have said you were out of your mind. But I have to say, this stuff is not bad at all. It's very in keeping with the style, which to me is just like Belgian Ale. It's not a triple. It's just a good, drinkable Belgian Ale with all the characteristics that you would expect from a reasonably good Trappist brewer. And I have no problem giving that a 9 out of 10 because they've got everything right on that, and especially doing it with American hops. Now, the hop choice was really good, I think, you know, especially with the Willamette because of all its European characteristics. And yep, I can 100% see why they've done that, because obviously they're copying the Belgian style, and usually these Trappist brewers, not all the time, but most of the time, they're using, you know, German or Belgian hops. It's rare that you get, you know, British hops in. Oh, well, do you? There are some. I do know some off the top of my head. I remember reading that some of them actually got hops from Kent, which of course is a great, you know, Kent is probably the best hop growing region of the United Kingdom, in my opinion. But yeah, that's a 9 out of 10. I really recommend that. It's quite easy to get hold of, which is good. You can get that on Beers of Europe. I'm going to check out as much as I can about this brewery, and I'm going to see if I can get some more of their beers and review them, because this, for me, is a winner. 9 out of 10, recommended. And remember, beer is working class champagne.